Peace be with you. My name is Alan Kiesler. Although I'm in the United States of America, I'm always thinking about Pakistan because Pakistan is not an ordinary place. But Pakistan is that place where, God will, pure Islam will be reestablished. Pure Islam means love, truth, justice, kindness, mercy, forgiveness, and above all, always remembering Allah, always remembering God, and calling on the name. So I have a very simple message today from my spiritual teacher, from Melchizedek, her spiritual teacher, and that is Salam. Salam is peace. So we will do a little meditation as I've been instructed by my teacher. Breathing deeply means slowly inhaling. And if you like, you can count to 10 or 12 or 16, however many counts. And then very slowly exhaling. And the important thing is to inhale fully, completely fill your lungs, and exhale completely. And this simple practice of deep breathing, it calms the mind just by breathing in fully, slowly, deeply, and breathing out fully, like you can join me. Just inhale. Some people say inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, or any. I don't worry about all those details. I just usually inhale through my nose and exhale through my nose, but you can do it in any way. But this is how I do it. So you may just breathe in slowly. And then exhale slowly. Inhale. Again, we'll do it a couple more times, inhaling slowly. So we lost the connection again. Anyway, you can continue this as many times as you like until you feel comfortable and peaceful. Your mind is at rest, and then we will recite Salam. Breathe in. Salam. 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 So when I do this, and when my teacher does this, she does it for at least 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes. I'm usually not so patient, but this deep breathing and just reciting a mantra, salam is also, she calls it a mantra. It is very, very calming and peaceful. And as I've said before, I didn't know it when I started this practice, and when my wife started this practice, I didn't know it. Only a couple of days ago, when I mentioned this, somebody wrote me here on my live chat that Salamo, is also a name of Allah. So I thought it would be, but I didn't know it, but it was. So if you like, you can think of whatever you like when you think of Salam, Salam. But the important thing is to just focus your attention. Like when we're breathing, we should focus our attention on the breath. Just think of the breath coming in, feel the breath coming in your nose, feel the breath moving out through your nose or mouth. Some people like to exhale. Then you can feel the breath going out through your lips. So focus your attention on the breathing, focus your attention on the sound of Salam. Or you can sing Salam. There's no hard and fast rules for chanting the names of Allah, any names, but the practice is very enlivening. It brings peace to the mind and it reinvigorates us. So it's a very wonderful practice. All right. So उर्दू में बात करें मैं तो कल बात की थी मैंने बात की थी उर्दू में और कल भी करूँगा एक दिन उर्दू एक दिन अंग्रेज़ी एक दिन उर्दू आज अंग्रेज़ी का दिन है शायद Fateh Malik says Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak to you too, sir. Moshaba Shamsher, do you Qudrat Ullah Shahab? Do I know Qudrat Ullah Shahab? I think you mean. I have heard of him, and I do know that he was a great Sufi and wrote some books, but I've not read any of them, but I have heard about him. Moshaba Shamsir, what will you say about Malala Yousafzai? Well, I don't know her. I've never met her. I have never read her book. I know she wrote at least one or two books. Um, so I really can't say much about her since I don't really know much about her. Ed Fawad Khan, sir, dear sir, what does E.T. live on Sun as well? Yes. I believe and I am convinced that there are beings living in the sun, actually. The sun is not what we think it is, like a thermonuclear explosion going on. Actually, that has been well established by scientists that does not explain what we observe. But that's the theory they've come up with, and they haven't figured out a better one. Some have, some scientists, but the mainstream science and media still believes that it's some sort of thermonuclear fire going on, but it's not. That's a fake idea, fake science. Like most of science is pretty fake. Um, just like most of the news today is almost entirely fake. So we live in a fake world. Um, but the sun, I have no doubt, is inhabited by beings whose bodies are effulgent, glowing. I've actually been there. Long, long ago, back in 1970s, I once made a trip out of body, not in this body. I think this body would get burned up before, but I went out of body travel into the sun, and I met people there also. So, yes, I have no doubt that there are beings living in the sun. Fawad Khan, sir, one of the signs of Qiyamah is that the sun will rise from the west. What does this mean? Thanks. Um, I don't know. It may mean literally or it may mean figuratively. So I never thought about this before, but it could be that the sun represents the sun of truth and sun of knowledge, and for some reason the sun of knowledge will come from the west instead of the east as it usually does. I really don't know what that means, but it could be literal or it could be, it's possible for that to happen literally, I guess. But I would be more inclined to think of it in a figurative sense, but I don't know what that means. Okay, I'm not going to read all the comments. Sarang Malik says, Bismillah Babaji, Salamat Rahe. Amin, Amin. Aur Pak Nabi Islam ki ziyarat karte rahe. Thank you very much. Fawad Khan Sir, I read the news that Trump might delay the election. Is this true? It's the first time I heard it. I don't know. Maybe. It's not impossible, but I don't I don't know. I wouldn't guess that, but it's possible, I guess. Since his enemies are promoting this coronavirus scam, which is meant to turn people against Trump and to destroy the economy, because the American economy was booming. It was doing the best it's ever done. Unemployment was lowest it's ever been. And so the enemies of Trump were realized that he's going to win this election because everything's going so well economically and in many other ways in the country. So they created this coronavirus and they are spreading it, making it a so-called pandemic. It's all fake. It's all fake news. All the figures, our statistics are fake, and everything is fake about it. There may be such a virus, actually. I'm not saying that's fake. I don't know, but there may be such a virus, but its uh, presentation is fake. The need to shut down the economy is fake. There was no need to ever shut down the economy. They frightened people. They said this will be a huge pandemic and everyone's going to die and everyone will become afraid. That was just part of their plan, not only to destroy Trump's successes, but also to try and capture totally control of the world. Because when people are afraid, they're willing to do anything. So that was. So I think Trump is going to win. My personal opinion is, I may be wrong, but I doubt if he will postpone the election, but maybe he will. It's possible. I don't know. Since all these rascals are doing so many horrible things to try to prevent him from winning, he may say, let's give us a little more time to get the economy going again before the other. It's possible, but I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know why people always ask me such questions because I really don't know. Sarang Malik says, Bismillah Babaji, kabhi aapne Hazrat Imam Ali alayhi Islam ki ziyarat ki hai? Har di khair, har di bhala. No, I've never seen Hazrat Imam Ali alayhi Islam. But I have great, great respect for him. And even back in what year was it? When I was in Pakistan in the early 1980s, about 1982, maybe even 81, 82, I think it was, I was teaching in Pakistan. I was teaching English, and I used a little book with the sayings of Hazrat Ali, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, or alayhi Islam, as you say, as my textbook, as one of my textbooks for teaching the students English. It was advanced English, so we were reading the sayings of Hazrat Ali, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, or alayhi Islam, as different people say, because I found them extremely, extremely deep and wonderful. So I have great love for. All right, I lost the signal again there. We will continue. But I was saying that I have great love and appreciation for Hazrat Ali alayhi Islam, as you call him, or Hazrat Ali Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, as others say. Both are good. All right, Omar Malik, kindly tell us about Methuselah. I don't know much about Methuselah at all, except he was, according to the Bible, he was the oldest person that ever lived. He had the longest lifetime of almost 1,000 years. But I think there are many other people who have lived much longer and who are living much longer. Maybe not human beings, but I think even human beings. But in any case, that's about all I know about him from my childhood. I never studied anything about him. He is one of the patriarchs, I believe. But okay. Fawad Khan, according to media, COVID-19 has killed many thousands in South American countries like Brazil. Is this based on truth as well, or is more lies from mainstream media? Thanks for answering my questions. I think it's mostly lies. I know for a fact here in America, many or even most of the people who so-called have died from COVID-19, they really didn't die from COVID-19. In fact, I had a friend who had a heart attack and died, and they said he had COVID-19, so he was listed as having died from COVID-19. He had a heart attack. There are even people who've committed suicide or died in motorcycle accidents, and they list them as having died from COVID-19. So there's so much fake statistics about COVID-19. So I don't believe any of what we read. Um, in any case, I'm certain that nowhere in the world do we need to shut down the economies. That is not necessary. That is a fake news, fake program. Uh, and it's no need to shut down schools. Um, they should reopen the schools. They should reopen the economy intelligently, but this whole thing is mostly a scam. It was an intentional creation in order to try to not only destroy Trump's chances at winning, but the re-election, but also to uh, gain total control of the world by these satanic people who created the virus, who are spreading it, and who are spreading all this fake news. Okay. Hmm. Islamic Hub says, Sir, kya haal hai? Kaise ho? Uh, तबीयत ठीक है आपकी? हाँ, मेरी तबीयत बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक है, अल्लाह का शुक्र है. I'm fine, thank you. Sir, is it true that behind every truly successful person there is hand of some wali great saints? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe in behind many people, I'm sure there are the hand of great wali and great saints, but others maybe not. I don't know. Again, it's a little hard for me to read the Persian script. Islamic Hub goes on to say, Sir, आपका program में uh, बहुत शौक से देखता हूँ. Shukriya. He likes to watch my programs with great enthusiasm and zeal. Fawad Khan, if mainstream media doesn't tell the truth, from which source we should get our daily news information? Thanks. Oh, very good question. Well, I look to alternative news sources, um, but ultimately you have to get the true understanding from your own heart. This is the teaching of my teacher, and it's a teaching of many people who I respect, that there's so much disinformation. It's not only fake news, it's not only wrong news, but the people who are spreading it often know that it's fake, but that's called disinformation. If something is fake, it's false, it's misinformation, wrong information, but if they know it's fake and they still promote it, that's called disinformation. So our world is so full of disinformation, it's hard to find the truth. So ultimately, you have to depend on your own heart, your own gut feeling, as we say. What you feel in your heart, you are going to have to use that as a source of information, because everywhere there's so much disinformation. But there are some good sources of information also, and I have talked about them in the past. Um, I rely on my teacher, uh, not 100%, but she is a very helpful source of true spiritual information, and even we talk together and we decide between ourselves, we discuss and try to understand what is the true and what is the fake information. But definitely 99% or 90, at least 90 or 95% of everything in the mass media is fake news. So I have no doubt at all about that. So it's very difficult to find the truth. But you have to pray, you have to meditate, you have to be in touch with your heart, which this breathing, slow breathing, deep breathing that we did starting this conversation, and the, if you like, reciting the name Salam or any uh, mantra, any spiritual sound or name of God, that will purify your heart. And as your heart becomes purer, you will be able to understand within yourself better what is the truth. So you have to use different sources of alternative news, but don't believe the mainstream media. It's almost all fake. How can religious extremism brought to an end? Oh, very good question, especially in Pakistan. Well, prayer is always good, and kindness, and being kind and loving to the extremists, and praying for them, and intelligently trying to help them understand the truth, but very humbly. They won't respond well if you go in with anger, and so just be peaceful yourself, and then they will see gradually that that they're wrong. That has to be it can only be their own inner realization and decision. We cannot force them to give up that. But gradually it will happen, I have no doubt. Gradually it is happening. Sir, what is your opinion about Indian Muslims? Well, there are all types of Indian Muslims. Some are good, some are not so good. But I'm not sure exactly what you mean. But the situation of Indian Muslims is very sad, especially with this current government in India. They actually are against Muslims, although they pretend they're not, but they really are. Not only Muslims, against all minorities. They want to establish a Hindu Rashtra where everyone should become Hindu. Really, that's what they want. So it's very, very difficult for not only Muslims, also Christians and other minorities in India are suffering greatly. But I can say one thing because this was told to me, and I was very amazed to learn just recently. I was contacted by a Muslim gentleman, an Indian Muslim actually, who lives in America, has lived in America for more than 30, 35 years, because I met him about 30 years ago. And I don't know if any of you heard it or remember it, but when was it? Maybe a year ago or so. I can't remember exactly when, but it was last year, I think, when I began saying that the solution for Indian Muslims is to stop eating beef. If the Muslims in India would stop eating beef, then the Hindus would be so astonished and so amazed and so pleased that it would bring about gradually, not all at once, but gradually it would bring about harmony and peace between the Muslims and Hindus in India. So just not very long ago, this gentleman called me, contacted me through the internet, and we have corresponded by email several times. He was a friend of mine that I'd met about 30 years ago, and we were together quite a while. And he told me he has stopped eating beef as a gesture of friendship and cooperation with the Hindus. So I told him, oh, that's amazing. For a year or so, I have been saying that's what actually Indian Muslims should do. So that's one thing about Indian Muslims I can tell you, that they are in a very sad situation, oppressed, mistreated, and so I'm sorry I got cut off again. I'm having problems, but at least it's coming back on now. Sometimes it stops completely, but okay. Let's see. Oh boy, there have been so many questions now. I'm going to have to go fast, I think. I'm not going to be able to read all of this. I'm going to have to go quickly to try to get as many of these as I can. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to find where I was, and I can't. But okay, here we go. Here's Fawad Khan saying, "Sir, recently a person who claimed to be a prophet was killed by a young man inside courtroom. Was that good or wrong act? Thanks." Well, it's always wrong to kill people. If that was true, that there was a man falsely claiming to be a prophet, he should have been arrested and tried. He shouldn't have been killed by somebody. That's not a very good thing to do. He should have been tried and punished by the court, not by some individual taking that into his own hands. Fawad Khan goes on, there is news of wildfires in Southern California and on Al Jazeera Network. Hope, inshallah, you're okay and get away from the fire areas. Hope Allah always protect you and your family from all evils and hazard. Well, we are farther away from Southern California than Karachi is from Lahore, so it's a long ways where the fires are from us. We're not in Southern, we're in Northern California. And California is a big, long state. Okay, let's see. I'm going to skip most of the comments and try to. Okay. So I went in the sun. I tried to get in the sun so that you could see me a little easier. And now, because of the sun, I'm having trouble reading the comments. So there's always some problem, no matter what solution we try to. Uh, Talar Ahmed says, now this time when you will be going around Pakistan, please tell me, Fazal. Okay, Fazal Sahib, I will announce it both on my Facebook page and I will do on my YouTube lives. I will also mention it. So keep watching my YouTube lives or look at my Facebook page and you will find out when I'm and where I'm going in Pakistan. Sahel Zubair, I wish to meet you and your families one day and visit and get education from your institute. Ameen. Well, you can get education, free education from my institute by going on the website, allintelligentlife.com, and there are several courses that I taught which are free. You can just go down to the archives at the bottom of the page and click on, I think September 2016 was the first one I did, and you can see my summary of the classes, and then you can watch the videos are posted there. So you can get your education now even. File. Oh, I'm trying. I'm having very much difficulty reading all this. But there's something. File something. Ahmed. आप उर्दू में भी पढ़ सकते हैं. हाँ, मैं उर्दू भी पढ़ रहा हूँ. ये देखकर मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई. अल्लाह पाक आपको खुश रखे और आपकी बीवी को भी. शुक्रिया. Okay, very good question here from the Untold Stories of Pakistan. How can we find a murshid? Well, when you are ready for a murshid, murshid will come to you. That's what we've been instructed, and it's been my experience. There will be some arrangement made by which you will find your murshid when you are ready. So just pray and be sincere. You don't want a murshid who will give you what you want. You want a murshid who will give you what's good for you, which may not be what you want. So you must be sincere to really want a murshid who may not give you what you want, but may give you something you don't want at all. But that's what a murshid does often. So just keep praying and it will be arranged for you. Sabil Zubair, I got to know you recently and you are an amazing personality. I'm not an amazing personality. I am a fool and rascal number one. I really don't understand anything, but I am trying to understand a little bit. Shaizan Ali, jawab do, naraz ho aapka. I don't know what you're talking about. Jawab do, naraz ho aapka. Give an answer. Yeah, something about being angry. I can't quite understand what you're saying. Okay. MK1 says, Sir, Assalamu alaikum. Please take honey and turmeric and ginger tea for your cough. May Allah bless you with full recovery. Thank you very much. Islamic Hud, आप जैसे नेक लोगों की बीमारे भी की हमारे मुल्क में ज़रूरत है. आपकी बातें बहुत अच्छी हैं. शुक्रिया. You are doing an amazing job. He's saying that they need people like me in our country. But That's true. We need everywhere. We need people who are trying to understand and spread the truth, because too many people are just accepting the fake truths that not only mass media, even religious leaders are giving fake teachings. So we have to be sincere to try to understand the truth and always be praying. And as we understand, we can share with others. But so, yes, people are needed everywhere who are like me, trying to understand the truth and trying to help others understand the truth. The truth is the first. First, we need the truth. We need to understand the truth. Uh, when we understand the truth, then we need to be good and do the right thing. And ultimately, by understanding the truth and by being good, then we will attain the highest perfection. Sorry, I got cut off again. I was just saying that in Greek philosophy, as I've been taught it, these three things are considered the most important: truth, and more important than truth is goodness, and more important than goodness is beauty, divine beauty. Okay, so I'm just going to have to pick here and there some questions or comments. Glamour infusion. How can we open the doors and realms of heavens within? Oh, very, very good question. Well, that's exactly what we're doing. By this deep breathing, this slow, deep breathing, and by reciting uh, Salam, thinking about peace and mercy, this is a very good way, meditation, a very good way of opening the doors and realms of heavens within. That's what I've been taught and what I've practiced. It's worked for me. So there may be other ways too, but that's the way I've learned it. Uh, Fawad Khan says, "Sir, I tried to meditate, but can't stop thinking of other things. How to concentrate while doing meditation things?" Oh, very, very good point. I should have mentioned this before. Don't worry, your mind will automatically wander here and there. That's the nature of the mind. So don't worry about your mind wandering. Just bring it back. If you're thinking about the breathing, meditating on the breathing, even the sound of the air or the feeling of the air going in and out, then just bring your mind back to that. Or if you're reciting Salam, just focus your attention on the sound. Salam. That's natural for the mind to wander. That's the nature of the mind. That's the job of the mind, almost, you could say, to wander. So we just have to, don't worry about it, just come back to the meditation. Okay, I guess that's long enough. Thank you all very, very much for all your good questions and comments. And we will continue this practice of deep breathing and reciting Salam. Peace. May God protect us all.